Morning everybody, how you all doing? It's chilly, but it's not as cold as it has been for the last few days. You can see the sun coming up through the trees back there. Awesome time of morning this. So I was in a WhatsApp group, I'm in a WhatsApp group, and somebody posted one of these big TikTokers, Lefty, from TikTok, and he likes to live stream, and it's the usual bullshit, race baiting crap. Everything's about race, everybody's a racist, and he was saying that this whole movement at the minute, the people protesting outside the illegal immigrant hotels, that's racist. Of course it is, it's always racist, isn't it? That's racist. People raising the flags, raising the colours, the Union flag, the St George's Cross, that's all racist. Of course it is. Look at that. Sunrise in the background, awesome. Everything's always racist to these people. Now the ironic thing is, 9 times out of 10, these people are the biggest racists out there. And I wasn't proven wrong when I was listening to his this little clip that was posted in the WhatsApp group, because he was talking about how racist things were and then proceeded to call people gammons. You can't make this up, can you? Now we all know, now they can pretend all they want that gammon isn't a racist slur against white people. We all know it is, because they're just too cowardly to admit it. But we know why they call us gammons. It's because of the pink nature of the gammon meat. It's the pale, you know what I mean, it's like white skin, isn't it? So that's why they call us gammons. So I've got a heads up for these people. If you make a reference about something regarding somebody's skin colour and then generalise about that, that's racism, because you're basing something about a particular group of people solely on a characteristic which they can't help, mainly their skin colour. So that by definition is racist. And I don't care about your bullshit made up change the definition of racism that you guys use, because that's exactly what you do when you want to be the thing that you're supposed to be against. You just change the meaning of the word, so it gives you a free pass to be that word without actually taking responsibility for it. So here's a little bit of a heads up for you. All right, this flag here was the representation of the British Empire, and you might not like this, but the British Empire did far more good than bad, and that's just factual. We brought civilization to countries that didn't have civilization. We brought engineering, we brought clean water, we brought law and order to countries that didn't have it. This myth that these countries were the lands of milk and honey before the British Empire subjugated them and made them part of our empire is just nonsense. Most of these countries were lawless shitholes, and we just came there and brought our civilization to them, and for that they are far better off today than they would have been if the British Empire had never set foot in their lands. They demonise. Obviously, the reason the British Empire is so demonised is because we have Marxist activist teachers teaching everything that was bad about the British Empire. And I will admit it, we did do some bad things, but the good that the British Empire did far outweighed the bad that it did. I mean, we can bring up other empires that are never mentioned. The Belgian Empire was absolutely brutal and sadistic. The Ottoman Empire, Muslim Empire, that conquered, raped and pillaged its way across continents, never brought up, never demonised, because obviously that goes against the narrative, because all people are trying to do when they go up against the British Empire is demonise white people. It's racism. They don't teach the controversy in schools. They just teach about they cherry pick history and just teach the bad parts to demonise the British and English people. And that's what they do it for. It's all about to control the narrative and to push their narrative that white people bad. That's what they do it for. When I can bring up examples of countless atrocities across the Ottoman Empire and the Belgian Empire that they did, but never mentioned at all. And also we have this thing of about slavery. It's never taught that the British, the English, we ended slavery. And if you were a tax-paying person right up till 2014, then you were paying off the debt, the cost of ending slavery through your taxes. So when people say, oh, you know, even though today there's nobody alive that was involved in the slave trade, they're all dead. There are people alive today that helped stop the slave trade because you were still paying off the debt with your taxes long after the event. So basically the lefties in that regard can just shut their mouths. Shut their mouths. In everything that they say about the British Empire and stuff like that, they can just shut their mouths. Because they would have you believe that before white Europeans set foot in Africa, that it was just a land of milk and honey. It was utopia. There was flowers and rainbows everywhere, and everyone just got along. What they won't teach is the fact that for thousands of years, African kings were selling their own people into slavery by the thousand via the Arab slave trading routes. And it's only when white Europeans, we didn't start slavery, we just took part in it for a time, and then we ended it. And the amazing thing is that it's still going on today. There is still the Arabic slave trade going on today, but that isn't mentioned because the lefties are too busy focused on the past, because talking about the present day slavery that goes on, that we aren't involved in, completely destroys their narrative of the story, and it is a story, that they're trying to push, this twisted view of history, this cherry-picked view of history. It's more nuanced than what they make it out to be. It's not black and white. It's not white people bad guys, black people good. No, they don't mention the huge amounts of African kings that profited from the sale of slaves. And then you bring up the fact about the Barbary slave trade, where the Barbary pirates came up as far as southern England, southern Ireland, and parts of southern Europe, and were taking white slaves. Over 1 million white slaves taken by the Barbary slave traders to be sold into the Arab slave markets. Not taught. I bet there's not many people that actually know about the Barbary slave trade. I bet not many of our school kids know about that side of slavery, because it's not taught to them. Because if that was taught to them, that would balance out history. It would start teaching history as it really is. And they don't want that, because these Marxist activist teachers, you know, the ones that turn up at protests with masks on the face, because they know if their faces were shown on camera, they'd lose their jobs for the activities they take part in. Those are the sort of people that are teaching our kids a skewed, twisted, cherry-picked history. If you're going to teach it all. That's what they should be doing, but they don't. And that's why we're getting this generation of kids that have been coming out for decades that hate themselves, that hate their country, and have no sense of cultural identity or a sense of tradition. And that's where we've gone wrong. We've allowed these absolute scumbags to be in our schools and our education system, teaching this trash, this skewed view of history trash to our kids. And that's why recruitment is down for the army, because for recruitment for the army to be high, you need patriotic people that want to fight for their country. Now, I wouldn't advise anybody at the minute to fight for their country. I really wouldn't. Don't fight for your country at the minute. And I'm going for a tangent. This is the morning walk thing that we do. But don't fight for your country. Don't fight for Starmer or any of those idiots. I'm just trying to explain why recruitment for the army has been down for decades. And it's due to people being not so patriotic anymore, because they're being taught to hate themselves in schools, colleges and universities. That's why you have these rabid lefties with no life experience chanting Nazi scum off our street, fascist scum off our street, calling everybody a racist, because they don't have a clue about their history or their heritage. They don't have a clue about the things that they're talking about, because they've been taught this absolutely backward, twisted view of history. And this is what happens when the Marxists get into power. They teach this sort of crap. They paint history, they rewrite history to fit their narrative that they want to push. Anyway, I have rambled enough. This is Vindicator, sign off.